Hi, this is Anna London with Cyvergence, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about some top cyber trends for this year, at least the first quarter, right? So let's talk about generative AI, right? GenAI. Unsecure employee behavior, third-party risks, continuous threat exposure, boardroom communication gaps, and identity-first approaches to security are the driving forces behind the top cybersecurity trends for 2024. Gen AI is occupying a significant headspace of security leaders around the globe as another challenge to manage, but also offers an opportunity to harness its capabilities to augment security at an operational level. Okay, so despite generative, if I can spit it out, Gen AI's inescapable force, leaders also continue to contend with other external factors outside their control that they shouldn't ignore this year or any other. Okay, we're going to see some security leaders respond to combined impact of these forces by adopting a range of practices, technical capabilities, and structural reforms within their security programs, and with a view to improving organizational resilience and the cybersecurity function's performance. Okay, so the top 6 trends are: Trend 1, generative AI. Okay, short-term skepticism, long-term hope, right? Thanks to Gartner. So security leaders need to prepare for the swift evolution of Gen AI. As large language models, right, applications like ChatGPT and Gemini are only the start of its disruption. Simultaneously, these leaders are inundated with promises of productivity increases, skills gap reductions, and other new benefits for cybersecurity. Gartner recommends using Gen AI through proactive collaboration with business stakeholders to support the foundations for ethical, safe, and secure use of this disrupted technology. It is important to recognize that this is the only, start, right? It's the beginning, okay, of Gen AI's evolution. There's a lot to overcome, though. And with many of the demonstrations that have been seen in security operations and application security, it is showing a bit of promise, okay? There's solid long-term hope for technology, but right now, we're more likely to experience prompt fatigue, right, than 2-digit productivity growth. And things will improve, so encourage, of course, experiments and thought practice and, but manage expectations as well, especially outside of the security team. Okay, the second trend is we're going to talk about security outcome-driven metrics, ODMs. We're going to bridge the boardroom communication gap. The frequency and negative impact of cybersecurity incidents on organizations continues to rise, undermining the confidence of the board and executives in their cybersecurity strategies. But outcome-driven metrics, or ODMs, right, are increasingly being adopted to enable stakeholders to draw a straight line between cybersecurity investment and the delivered protection levels it generates. Okay, ODMs are central, okay, to creating a defensible security investment strategy, reflecting agreed protection levels, right, with powerful properties, and in simple language that is explainable to non-IT executives, right? And this provides a credible and defensible expression of risk appetite that supports direct investment to change protection levels. The third trend is, security behavior and culture programs, right, are gain increasing traction to reduce human risks. Okay, this is a good thing. Security leaders recognize that shifting focus from increasing awareness to fostering behavioral change, right? It's the culture, okay? It's the business culture, and government's the government culture. That will significantly help to reduce cybersecurity risks, okay? So about 50% of large enterprises, okay, according to Gartner, by 2027, those CISOs will have adopted human-centric security design practices to minimize cybersecurity-induced friction and maximize control adoption. Security behavior and culture programs encapsulate an enterprise-wide approach to minimizing cybersecurity incidents associated with employee behavior. Okay, organizations using SBCPs, right, security behavior and culture programs, have actually witnessed better employee adoption of security controls, reduction in unsecure behavior, and increases in speed and agility. It also leads to a more effective use of cybersecurity resources as employees become competent at making independent cyber risk decisions. The fourth trend, okay, is resilience-driven, resource-efficient, third-party cybersecurity risk management. Okay, so what does that really mean? Okay, what does that really mean? If the inevitability of third parties experiencing cybersecurity incidents, right, is pressuring security leaders to focus on, more resilience-oriented investments and move away from front-loaded, due diligence activities. Okay, Gartner recommends security leaders enhance risk management of third-party services, right, the supply chain risk management component, okay, and establish mutually beneficial relationships with important external partners to ensure their most valuable assets are continuously safeguarded. We can start by strengthening contingency plans for third-party engagements that pose the highest security risk, right? We need to create third-party specific incident playbooks, conduct tabletop exercises, and/or full failover testing, right? And define a clear offboarding strategy involving, for example, timely revocation of access and destruction of data, right? All part of the system development lifecycle process, but a lot of things I think get misconstrued or, there's sometimes no follow through or the correct follow through, right, with the right procedures to minimize the risk. Trend number 5 is continuous threat exposure management programs, right? So the continuous threat exposure management, right, CTEM, is a pragmatic and systemic approach organizations can use to continually elevate the accessibility, exposure, and exploitability of digital and physical assets, aligning assessment and remediation scopes, with threat vectors or business projects rather than an infrastructure component, okay, alone, right, highlights vulnerabilities and unpatchable threats, okay? So, in 2026, Gartner predicts that organizations prioritizing their security investments based on a CTEM program will realize a 2/3 reduction in breaches, okay? That's a nice hope. It's a nice goal to attempt to meet, right? But security leaders, okay, must continuously monitor hybrid digital environments to enable early identification and optimal prioritization of vulnerabilities to help maintain a hardened organizational attack surface. Okay, that's key, right? So, hackers never sleep, networks never sleep, right? It's a never-ending risk management strategy and approach, right? It's a day-to-day, minute-by-minute type of approach to even stay up, on top of and ahead of, potential indicators of compromise or breaches, etc., right? Trend number 6, and the final trend we're going to be discussing today, is extending the role of identity and access management, right, to improve cybersecurity outcomes. As more organizations move to an identity-first approach to security, the focus then shifts from network security and other traditional controls to IAM, making it critical to cybersecurity and business outcomes, okay? And even more so in the cloud, right? So, there is an increased role for IAM in security programs, right? And we've already seen it, okay, for about a decade and a half now. But I think there's a lot of evolution in that process as well, and our ability to apply identity access management, right? Security programs, practices, right? They all must evolve to focus more on fundamental hygiene and hardening of systems to improve resilience, okay? So security leaders, right, must focus on strengthening and leveraging their identity fabric and leverage identity threat detection and response to ensure IAM capabilities are best positioned to support the breadth of the overall security program, right? It's a huge undertaking, folks. It takes a village, all right? It takes a village to manage cybersecurity at the level it needs to be. There's a lot of different layers of that onion, if you will. And those folks that think that they can learn cybersecurity, by just taking a few Udemy courses or some Try Hack Me courses are absolutely wrong in that, estimate. So, the full the breadth and wealth of understanding, right, of cybersecurity and all that it takes at the multiple layers, networks, applications, systems, operating systems, etc., right, patching, staging, etc. I mean, everything. It's a multi-layered approach, folks, right? But it's important to know, and then of course engage with others, right? To come up with a really holistic, robust strategy that can be briefed up, right, to leaders so they can make more informed decisions based upon risk and of course cost to their organizations. So with that said, I hope this was helpful for everyone. I know I haven't posted podcasts in a while, about a month, right? My mom passed away on February 2nd, so I've been dealing with that, and I had to take a step back from that. And of course, I was putting my effort into a current client that I have as well, right, with some deadlines, right, that are approaching there. But anyways, with that said, I'm back. I'm here. I'll be posting again. Look forward to just offering value, right, to folks, to organizations, to individuals in our cybersecurity industry, right, so we can improve upon our ability to support, right, our clients or our companies, right, and each other when it comes to mitigating and remediating risk, right, to avoid cyber breaches, right, protect our data, processed, stored, transmitted, right, because a lot of this stuff can be prevented if you're proactive, okay? A lot of people end up being reactive, and you can't do that. You need to build in security from the jump. Whether you're building software, whether or not you're the operations and maintenance side, right? Security needs to be intertwined, okay, in your entire program. It can't be an afterthought. Okay, we know this, we're getting that, but still, believe it or not, there's a lot of organizations where cybersecurity is still an afterthought, and or they have not, or maybe it's just budget, right, where they don't have enough money to really hire some strong subject matter experts to help them put in mechanisms in place, right, to greatly reduce the risk, and manage their cyber hygiene, right, across the board. Multi-site, whether it be on cloud, on-prem, doesn't matter. Security is everyone's responsibility, okay? Physical and logical security. So with that said, again, I hope this provides value. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be posting more as as new information comes to head. I will be posting additional podcasts, of course. You know me. Look forward to, again, reach out if you need any assistance also, right? So remember that. So all my contact information, right, will be in the comments. So when you listen to the podcast, you can see how to get a hold of us. This is Anna London with Cyvergence.ai, signing out.